This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast for everyday runners. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher, and if you run, you're a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories and we celebrate finish lines and milestones together. First of all, if you're new here, this is not how I always sound. I have succumbed to the cold, cough, whatever that my kids have given me this holiday season. So bear with me as I get through this intro. This episode is brought to you by Noogs, Noogs, Noogs. It is fueling made fun. This product is absolutely amazing. It tastes just like sour candy, like Sour Patch Kids. Literally, I did not believe it until I tried them. They have electric watermelon, lemon zinger, and sour apple. And then they just announced 3 new flavors. There's blue raspberry blast, and then there are 2 caffeinated flavors. One is strawberry lemonade, and the other is poolside pop. I cannot wait to try the new flavors. I already absolutely love what they already had. So these chews are easy to take on the run. I love using them on the treadmill to count my strides. They are quick digesting with a lot of carbs. They have essential electrolytes as well. They are vegan, gluten-free, and made with natural colors and flavors. So you'll hear on this week's episode me talk about Paige Foote, who actually introduced me to this week's guest. So thank you so much to Paige for supporting this podcast as well and for creating such an incredible product. If you would like to try Noogs, you can go to their website, noogon.com. You can use code AllieB15 for 15% off your order. That's Allie, A-L-L-Y, B15 for 15% off. You can also find them on Amazon. Thank you, Noogs, for supporting this podcast. Okay, and then before I get into this week's guest, again, I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who's listened this year. I could not do this without you. And thank you to all the sponsors who have supported this podcast. If you would take a second, share, rate, review, I would really appreciate it. Got some exciting things coming next year. I will tell you a little bit more about them in the outro of this episode, so stay tuned there. Oh, and if we aren't already friends on Instagram, you can find me at Allie, A-L-L-Y-T Brett, B-R-E-T-T. That's Allie T Brett _runs. I did a countdown to Christmas, so an advent calendar that featured the top episodes of Finish Lines and Milestones. So if you're new here and you want to hear some of the most favorite episodes, you can go follow me there and see that list. But thank you. I'm so grateful, and I hope you have the happiest holiday season and Happy New Year. And then this week's episode is with Michelle Pillepich. Again, I was introduced to Michelle from Paige Foote, the founder of Noogs, and we hit it off right away. If you watch the video version of this episode, we are literally dressed the exact same and look like long-lost sisters. So we got along immediately. She was so fun to talk to. I loved getting to hear about how she got into running, how she got into dietetics. She actually has her own practice, Pillepich Nutrition. And so we talked about her marathon experiences. She's run the New York City Marathon twice. I think you're just going to really enjoy this conversation with my new friend, Michelle Pillepich. Hello, Michelle Pillepich. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
For anyone who's watching the video, we should probably just acknowledge the fact that we look exactly the same at this moment.
We are long lost sisters.
So crazy when you just like log in and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, I like your style.
Same colors, same hair, same headphones, almost.
It's perfect. So we had Paige from Noogs connect us. Yes. And I said we should wait to say great things about Paige until we recorded because I really love her so much.
Paige is
How do you know Paige?
You know, as we were talking, I was like, how do I know Paige? I think she and I might have just connected on Instagram because in like the dietitian world, and now she's doing so many things above and beyond that. And then she and I were running the New York City Marathon the same year in, I think, 2021. And so we met in person there. And I mean, she's just like the happiest, bubbliest, friendliest person ever.
She really is. And their branding of the company that she has matches her personality.
Oh,
perfectly.
To a T. It's incredible. Couldn't be better.
Yeah. So I have yet to meet her in person, but hopefully someday.
Yes.
And for anybody who's never tried Noogs, need to go get yourself some on Amazon or on their website. They are delicious.
So good. So delicious. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So you're a dietitian. You have your own business doing that. We have so much to talk about. You do so much content.
I
It's incredible.
try.
Tell me about it. It is a grind. So
Yes.
yeah, no, I love to see it. Such important messages that you're sharing.
Thank you so much.
But let's kind of take it back and just get to know you as a human. You're calling from New Jersey. What part of New Jersey are you in now?
Yes, I'm in North Jersey. I'm about like an hour outside of New York City, but I'm actually moving next month to Weehawken, New Jersey, right across the river from Manhattan. So very excited.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yes,
super exciting. Congratulations. That's
thank
a big
you.
move too, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, it feels small because I've kind of moved all over. I went to college in Virginia, grad school in North Carolina. My first job as a dietitian was in California. So
Wow.
this is like easy peasy.
Nothing. I take it back. I completely take it back. You don't even have to get on a plane. You're like,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
this
like,
is
this
going to
is
be smooth
great.
sailing.
So easy. Yeah. And I used to be in Manhattan, so it feels like going back home.
Oh my gosh. Well, perfect. That's so exciting.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
you're originally from where then?
I'm originally from a town called Ramsey in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. Small
Okay.
town,
Also in New Jersey.
suburbia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you grow up as an athlete playing sports?
I did. Yeah. I kind of tried out every sport. I feel like a lot of kids do. I played soccer when I was little. I think that softball was maybe only one season. I was not a softball fan. It stressed me out.
Yeah.
Soccer, I was like, okay. But when I was little and they kind of forced everyone to rotate through all the positions, when I was playing goalie, someone scored on me and I cried. Like that was also kind of a disaster.
I used to fake being sick so I didn't have to play goalie.
That's very smart.
Swear. I hated
Should
it
have
so
done that.
much. Yeah.
I tried
They probably saw right through
basketball.
it, but
Yeah, they're like, doesn't matter. I tried basketball, didn't love that. So then I took tennis lessons in middle school and I really like tennis. I enjoy playing tennis, but I was just never that good at it. And I would play in these tournaments at the school where I took lessons and I would just always lose every single game. But I kept playing. So that was kind of sad. And then when I got to high school, that's when I really like found my athletic calling and I played field hockey, which, it was funny. My parents were like, we just paid for 4 years of tennis lessons and now you're gonna not play tennis. Like, what are you doing? But it was for the
yeah.
best because I was a lot better at field hockey than I was at tennis. So I scrapped that. I played field hockey, and my town at the time didn't have a field hockey program before high school. So like that was a totally new sport to me and I just loved it and had some natural ability. So that was my main sport. And then that's kind of how I got into running also because during the off season, field hockey was in the fall and I just really cared about that sport. So I wanted to stay in shape for field hockey all year. So I joined the track team in the winter and spring. And that's what I did all through high school.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, what's crazy, Michelle, is that my most recent guest, Caitlin Johnson, she lives in Indianapolis where I am now, but she is from Philadelphia. She played field hockey growing up.
Yeah.
When I talked to her, I'd heard the terms field hockey, but I never really knew what it was. So now I feel like I know a little bit more. But she now coaches for a university here, Ball State University, which is crazy. But yeah, so field hockey is really big on the East Coast, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think it's more like a mid-Atlantic because definitely South Jersey, it's bigger than North Jersey, but I think it's so fun and it's so sad that there's not really an opportunity to play recreationally as an adult. I'm like, you can't just like play a pickup game like you would with basketball. And a lot of people who do play into adulthood, like played in college at a D1 school, which I did not. So I miss it a lot. But now, as of this spring, I'm actually getting into golf. And I feel like that is the closest thing to field hockey that I've found. Just something like you're swinging a club, you are like focused more on skill and strategy than just pure endurance like with running. So that's been super fun.
That's funny. Yeah. And you can only hit with one side of the club.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? The golf club. See how much I know about field hockey? Yeah, I saw your most recent Instagram post was you on a golf course. And I was like, ooh, I dabble. I used to play more often than I do, but it's really fun. I think because, as you age too, it's something that doesn't take a whole lot of physical effort. It's more, you got to practice to get any better, which can be difficult.
Oh, very.
But still fun.
And I'm so competitive.
So humbling.
I'm like, I need to be able to beat every guy out there when I go out with all the men. which like, it'll be a while till I get there.
I was like, and how's that going?
It's not.
I broke 100 one time my whole
that's
golf
amazing.
career. So, which is amazing. That's like, finally you're like, okay, like that's
incredible.
Everybody who plays all the time, like that's very normal. But for me, I've only done that one time.
No, that's a big deal. I don't even keep score yet. That's where I'm at. So.
Oh yeah. See, I have a handicap, which is like in the 30s, which if anybody listening knows about golf, that's very high. Yeah. So it's not good, but it's still fun, and you just get to be outside, and so that's cool.
I mean, I think it's like a mindfulness practice. It's really amazing.
It really is. And for people like us who are competitive, it's great in patience.
Yeah, it teaches you a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And then what made you choose to go to school in Virginia?
That is a great question. What was it? So when I was in high school, I visited and toured, I think 18 different colleges. I was just
18
going all over. I know.
Wow.
It was a lot. I had this book that was like best schools in the Northeast, literally on my nightstand. I would like read it before bed and just like flag the schools that I liked, and then went to a bunch of them and I probably applied to 10 or 11. And it really wasn't until I was going back to the schools that I got accepted to that I decided. So I went to William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. And it wasn't until I got accepted there and I went to I think it was the Accepted Students Day, or we just went back for a second visit and had a really amazing tour guide. And I was like, I think this is it. I think, it was one of the best schools I applied to. I really liked the size. My high school was fairly small. My graduating class was like 250. So I didn't want to go to a humongous school, but I wanted to go somewhere that was definitely bigger than my high school. So it fit the right size. It felt like it had such a nice community. Academically, it was challenging, which I'm like, maybe I should have gone somewhere easier. But it just kind of fit the bill. And I really enjoyed it there.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. Yeah, I have an older sister and a younger brother. And when I was looking at colleges, I didn't even want to look anywhere that my sister had applied. I was like, I want to be different.
Yes, that's how my sisters were. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. Okay. So I'm the oldest. You're the middle.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Classic middle child, I guess.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to pave my own way.
Yeah.
And then your brother didn't go to the same school as either of you either?
No. Yeah. So my sister went to Drew, which is a small school in New Jersey. And then my brother went to Syracuse.
Okay. Yeah. That's so funny.
New York. Yeah. Yeah. So, and my parents had this rule. My dad was like, okay, the rule is 4-hour drive. Like that's the farthest you can go, a 4-hour drive from home, and definitely not a flight. And I was like, okay, well, what about 7 hours? That's the school I really like. And of course I went. And then I did end up flying home sometimes. So I broke all the rules.
That's funny. Yeah. I feel like, I did. Unfortunately for my parents, I went to Miami of Ohio, which is 5 miles across the Indiana-Ohio border. So I barely went out of state.
Yep.
Just enough for them to they paid for my college. Thank you, mom and dad. Yep. And so just out of state tuition.
Yeah.
But only a 2-hour drive, which was nice. So nice. It felt far enough away to where my, nobody was popping over for, just out of the blue, but also I could come home whenever I wanted.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you know, going into school, I know I've watched some of your content. I'm forgetting what drew you to dietetics, how you ended up in that field. Because did you start knowing you were interested in that in school? What started that?
So in undergrad, I actually double majored in government and Hispanic studies, which is hilarious. Yes. And it was really just because those were my favorite classes in high school. My senior year, I took AP government. I had a really great teacher. I enjoyed that class. And I always really loved my Spanish classes. And that was something I was good at. I always did the best in Spanish of all my classes. So I was like, okay, this will be my major. But I didn't want to make Spanish my major because I thought, just Spanish. I thought, well, if I major in Spanish, my only career path is to be a Spanish teacher. And I don't want to do that. So I need another major, which that's not true. I don't know why I was thinking that. That was just how my brain was working at the time. So I chose government and Spanish, and all throughout college, I thought I want to start a nonprofit, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to work in the White House or do something like that, which LOL, would never want to do that now.
Yeah, it sounds terrifying.
Yeah. So when I graduated, well, actually my senior spring, I took a nutrition class because William and Mary didn't have a nutrition major or a dietetics program. So I didn't really know about it at all, but I had kind of an interest in nutrition. And I took this class my senior spring. I needed an elective. I heard it was an easy A, so I took the class, and a dietitian came and spoke to our class about that career path. So I remember after that class, I was talking to my roommates and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so cool. And at this point, spring of senior year, I had a different career plan every other day. My roommate was like, okay, like just stop. Don't pursue it. Like you have so many ideas, just put it on the back burner. And I was like, okay, yeah, she's right. And it was always just in the back of my mind. I thought, oh, that sounds fun and interesting, but like I didn't study that. I'm going to do something else. So when I graduated, I was interning for a senator's campaign in Virginia, in DC, Virginia area. And I was miserable. I absolutely hated it. I was dreading going into work every single day. I wasn't being paid. So I literally quit after a month and went home. I was like, I'm done with this. Hated it. And then I was home, like, just thinking, okay, well, what do I want to do? If I don't want to do what I studied, what the heck do I want to do? And I just found myself reading articles about nutrition, just drawn to that field and topic. And I had also done a summer program at William & Mary that was about media, and I thought that was really interesting. I almost went to college for graphic design. That was something I also loved in high school. So I thought, oh, I'll do food media, and that'll be my thing. And I got an internship at Rachel Ray Magazine and worked there for a bit, which was super fun. But I just didn't love being in an office. I wanted to be actually interacting with the people I was helping. And so while I was there, I talked to a lot of people who were working as dietitians just about what their job was like, and ultimately decided, okay, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I want to go back to school. So I had to take all the science classes I had avoided since high school. So I went to the local community college and took chemistry, biology, anatomy, biochemistry, all of that part-time. And I also worked part-time as an SAT tutor just to make some money while I was doing it. And that was a pretty fun job. And then I applied to grad school. I went to UNC Chapel Hill and got my nutrition degree.
Wow.
It was a journey.
Yeah. And now you have all of these. I mean, yeah, I was like, okay, MPH, RD, CPT. I was like,
Yes.
what is all? I don't even know. I mean, I know the RD. That one's easy, but the other ones I hadn't seen. So is that all part of that education, or is some of that continuing education?
Some of it is different. Yeah. So MPH, with nutrition, when you get a master's in nutrition, you could either do a master's of public health or a master's of science. So my nutrition degree is a master's of public health. I went to the public health school at UNC. And then RD, registered dietitian, RDN, some people use as registered dietitian nutritionist, same thing. CPT, actually a couple of years ago, I did my certified personal trainer certification through NASM.
Right, okay.
So that I just did on my own. And then I also added RYT on there. So I am a registered yoga teacher. I did my yoga teacher training January of 2024. So I'm like a serial credential getter. It's getting out of hand.
God. Yeah, well, I feel like I relate so much to you in that, like, when I was in school, I literally like picked my major based on a class I was doing well in. Yeah. Like I was like, this is fine. I don't know. They made me pick a major. They're like, you have to pick something. And I was like, but I don't know what I want to do. I was interested in so many different things. And so, yeah, that was really tough.
I mean, how can
even
you
still
know?
Kind of is to an extent. Yeah. It's like, I always envy people who like knew they wanted to be a doctor or like a teacher, like from like when they were a kid. They're like, I always knew I wanted to do this. I'm like, how does that feel? Because I really have never known exactly what I've wanted to do when I grow up. I still feel that same way, but I also have so many different interests and hobbies too. So it's like, it's interesting. Yeah. Like I could totally relate to a lot of what you've said so far.
Yeah. I think it's more fun to not know what you want to do, because then you get to keep exploring things. And even now,
it's true.
There are always new ideas I'm having and ways I want to pivot the business and things I can add. And so I didn't like always know what I wanted to do, but I feel like at least throughout grad school, I always knew that I wanted to work for myself. And that has been a huge key, and just like take it to some sort of freedom and creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. I think now that I've been on this side and I do work for myself, I don't think I could ever go back.
No.
I just don't think I'm built that way. So at least now, I'm lucky enough to know that about myself too.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you about just growing up. Did you ever have any issues with disordered eating, with food? Like, were there personal aspects of it that drew you to the profession?
Yeah. So Not a ton. I feel like I'm a little bit of an oddball in that sense. Like most people do go into the eating disordered niche due to past experience with an eating disorder or disordered eating. And I feel very lucky that, my household, my family was all very normal with food. Of course, there were some things, my mom didn't want to buy super sugary cereal. And I remember I always wanted Fruity Pebbles, and we would rarely get Fruity Pebbles. And
Yeah.
like we
Yep.
always had whole wheat bread, and I would love having
Yep.
a white bread at my friend's house.
I
So,
know. Yes.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
like the thing. So she was health conscious, but never in a way that was restrictive. I've always had a sweet tooth, always had dessert. So I never really struggled with that. I definitely have struggled with body image in high school. I feel like what high schooler doesn't struggle with their body image?
Right.
I
Yes.
specifically remember like after track practices when I'd be changing to shower, I would like check my stomach in the mirror first and see if it's flat and always be like chasing that, the abs, the flat stomach. And so
Hmm.
I would tell myself that I was going to do certain things like, oh, I'm going to cut sugar for X amount of time so that I can get a flat stomach, but I just would never follow through. And so I
Yeah.
think that's just something in my wiring that, like, luckily I was not prone to actually following through on those behaviors. But, I still was affected by diet culture in those ways. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really see it as like pure luck that I didn't struggle to the extent of like actually engaging in those behaviors. And then throughout college and after, I had some GI issues, and that also really drew me to the nutrition field because
Yeah.
I was always struggling with like bloating and discomfort and pain and frequent stomach aches. And eventually I was diagnosed with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So, in order to try and address all the discomfort I was going through, I did, I saw a dietitian. I did some food sensitivity tests that now I would never recommend. But so there were times where I was cutting things out for those reasons, and it felt really limiting and really frustrating. And so that's something that actually just recently I'm starting to incorporate in my practice and treat these kind of GI conditions. Because at first I was like, that is too close to home. I hated going through it. I don't want to do anything related to it. But now I feel like, okay, I want to help people with this because it was so frustrating, and it's hard to navigate in the world of fad diets and all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, good for you not succumbing to the pressures of all the diet culture. Like I in college was not a healthy environment. I feel like for
Mhm.
young women where I went, it was like number one college in the nation for eating disorders. Like it
Mm.
was not good. And I was never diagnosed, but I know now looking back, it was definitely disordered eating, like not good. I would like restrict myself so that I could drink more
Mhm.
of my
Mhm.
calories. And it was just not healthy. And so I've talked about it recently on this podcast too, where like, especially when we start getting into talking about the running and the endurance side of things, like carbs are king. Like you need
Yeah.
carbs for fuel. But my
Yes.
whole life, it was like, no, carbs are bad. You can't eat
Right.
carbs. So
Right.
it's been like rewiring my brain.
Absolutely. And like I still had the 100-calorie packs and the snack wells, and like I
The
remember so
snack
my
wells.
right. Never
Yeah.
forget.
Those chocolate ones that were
Yes.
just tasted like
Yes.
chemicals.
Yes.
God.
I my freshman year I was on the crew team, and
Oh, interesting.
yeah, so we would be waking up super early and I would have a granola bar or something before I went. But I was also conscious of that. Like, okay, this was X number of calories. Let me look at the calories that I burn on the elliptical later today. And like, it
Mhm.
never got to an extreme. And I never, again, it just like wasn't the follow through on actually fully restricting. Like, I remember using my fitness pal and just going past my limit in quotes every day and like I was like, all right,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I guess I feel kind of bad, but
Yeah.
like, I'm not going
Well,
to change it. Which,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
again, like
Yeah.
pure luck, I think.
Yeah. So, okay. So then when did running come in? You mentioned track when you were in
Yes.
high school, I guess, to like stay in shape for field hockey. But at what point did you like sign up for your first race or what
Yeah.
did that look like for you?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because on the track team in high school, I was sort of avoiding running. Like, my events were the 100-meter high hurdles and long jump and triple jump. So it was like
Okay.
least
Yeah.
running possible. And like my
Yeah.
friends and I would take shortcuts on the routes for practice and all of that, just like try to skip running as much as possible. So it wasn't until college. I definitely enjoyed it to some degree. You know, during the summers, I would run 2 miles to just like practice for that timed mile for field hockey, the like scariest day of preseason.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Yes, I think there was some enjoyment that like made me consider continuing it in college because so I was on the crew team my freshman year, which was like so random.
Also, yeah, tell us about that. Yeah, because all of a sudden you're like, and on my freshman year, I was on the crew team. I was like, wait, did you already mention that? Am I crazy? Yeah. So of college.
Yes. So
That's
and
crazy.
it was a club team. So it was not anything like super
But still,
impressive.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so one of my friends in high school road crew with like a club because our school didn't have a team. So she did it with the club. So I knew about the sport and always thought it was cool. And then at the activities fair freshman year, I was like, oh, crew team, I should sign up. Just signed up. Mostly because I knew about it from her. It was one of my best friends who was rowing throughout high school. So I tried it and it was so fun. Like the novice team was all girls who'd never done it before, all freshmen. Like we became such great friends. That was amazing. And then sophomore year, everyone kind of got bumped up to like quote unquote varsity. Again, it was a club team. So then it got a little more intense and we all quit because we were like, oh, this isn't like just for fun anymore.
Yeah.
So at that point I quit. So after crew, I just have always enjoyed being active and I was like, okay, I want to do something. So that's when I started running on my own just for fun. And I would run, you know, this one route on street. William and Mary is right across from Colonial Williamsburg. So that like main
That's
street.
what I would picture. Yeah. That's
Yes,
cool.
they call it Dog Street. And so I would like go from my dorm down the street and back. And it was, I don't even remember how long that loop was, like maybe 2 miles max. And I would just do that loop. And then I don't remember what year it was, maybe my junior year. Eventually, I just decided I want to try and run a half marathon. A couple of my friends at school, maybe it was even senior year, trained for a half at school and then ran a marathon. And I was like, I will never do that, but I'll do a half. And so I decided to run a half marathon with one of my friends, and she was from Charlottesville, Virginia. So she knew of a local race there and was like, oh, we can sign up for this. And it was actually sponsored by her brother-in-law's company. He ran like a barefoot sandal company. And so they were sponsoring the race and it was pretty small. And the registration fee was only $40. So we were like, that's the one that we're going to do.
Yeah.
That is our race. So the timing also worked out. It was like right after the end of the year. So just on our way home, we could go to Charlottesville. And the funny part was it was a trail race. And guess how many trail runs I had done before this trail half marathon? Zero. Literally zero.
Perfect.
It was so hard. I was like,
yeah. So oh my gosh, was there elevation too?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
was it a little hilly?
Oh, yeah. No, I felt like I was running up a mountain. It was like all in the woods. Yeah, it was insane. Like Charlottesville is very mountainous. So it was intense, very challenging. I remember after 9 miles, we were both just dying so much. Maybe it was just me that was dying. I don't know if she was. We were like, okay, let's tell each other our life stories. Like start with your childhood. And we just like we're going back and forth to try and get each other through it. Like downing Gatorade. Because I also had no clue about fueling. I didn't know you were supposed to fuel during a race. Like zero idea whatsoever. So it was just the Gatorade stops getting us to the next mile after however many. And it was a half marathon and full. And my friend's mom was like about to send out a search party because people finish the marathon before we finish the half.
I mean, that'll happen.
Yeah, it was a time. But I finished and I was so proud of myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really intense. I'm assuming too, you didn't run in the barefoot sandals.
No, oh my gosh, no.
Can you imagine?
That would have been.
I mean, I'm sure were there people there that wore
people
those?
Did, yeah.
I mean, I would imagine with them being that's crazy.
Probably.
People are crazy.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, but like as soon as we started, it was uphill, and I was like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah. That would be a struggle, especially like it's your first race ever. You probably didn't even think like, oh, I should probably like look at the elevation profile or like, I don't know.
I still don't do that.
Yeah,
ever.
I guess I don't really. Well, I do if I'm like trying to race ish, but I mean, I still don't. If I look at it, I don't know what it means. I just see the hills and I'm like, okay, that looks hilly. I don't know.
Yeah, my philosophy is like, I'm going to run it no matter what. So I don't need to know if there's a hill. I'll just take it as they come.
Just surprise me. Yeah. Okay. So that was your first half marathon.
First race,
That's wild.
Yes.
Yeah. And was that at the end of the year for school? Would have been in the summer too. Was it hot?
It was in May, so it wasn't.
Oh, May.
Horrible.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I was thinking, okay.
Yeah,
so not too bad yet. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so after that, were you like, yes, like sign me up for my next one?
No.
You're like, what did I just do? I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, it was like, okay, checked it off the list. Like, I'm so glad I did that. I don't know that I really thought about it much more because so I just continued running for fun, recreationally, whatever. And then in grad school, same thing. I would go for runs just like as my exercise. But there was a race every year called the Tar Heel 10 miler at UNC. And a bunch of people would run it, and some of my friends would run it from the nutrition department. And the thought of 10 miles, I was like, oh no, that's too hard. Like, that's too far. That's too hard. Also, there was a very big hill. And so I was like, no, everyone talks about how scary the hill is. Like, I don't want to do it. So I would go and watch and cheer for all my friends who were running, but I just never did. I think that the first year I was like, okay, maybe next year I want to train and do it, but I just never did. So I kind of like psyched myself out, just ran for fun. And then same thing, I guess, after grad school. It was just always like for me. And I have never been a fast runner. So I was like, oh, this is just a me thing. I would only run by myself. Like run clubs were not really a thing I was aware of. I don't know if they were as big a thing at all. But after grad school, I coached a lot for Girls on the Run. Have you heard of that program?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yes. So for several seasons, I coached for girls, or maybe that was even before grad school, actually. So I coached Girls on the Run.
Wait, and tell people what that is, just for people who don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing organization. So it's an after-school program for girls, either grades 3 through 5, or they also have a middle school program, 6 through 8. And you meet twice a week as a team, and they do a lot of lessons about self-esteem, friendship, stress management, body image, all sorts of things combined with a running exercise. And throughout the season, they're training for a 5K. And so they run a 5K at the end of the season. So I would run with them and train for these 5Ks. And that was like so fun, so just life-giving. I wish I could just like be paid to be a Girls on the Run coach because I loved it so much.
My kid is in 2nd grade and her school does not have one at the moment. They used to, but I guess they didn't have enough of a volunteer. I don't know, but I was like, I want to start it, but I also want somebody else to start it so that she has it, but that it's not like something I do all the time. Anyway, that sounds fun,
before and during grad school, I coached for that and would run with them. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. And just kind of like all my running was just for me and for fun until, it still is for me and for fun, but I didn't run any other races until my next race, might have been the New York City Marathon.
I thought you were going to say that. And I was like, okay, then.
Yes. Yeah.
So
go big or go
just
home.
A little like 0 to 60, man. You're like, okay, well, might as well just do this. Okay. So what made you sign up for New York?
So it was spring of 2021. I had moved home during COVID. So I was in Jersey, close to the city, and I wanted to move to the city. I was kind of waiting for things to like open up. So spring 2021, I moved into the city and I joined a run club. I was like, I want something to do where I can make friends, be active, be social. I like running, and it's outside. It's like safe because COVID was still a thing. So I joined a run club and had a blast. And then I joined a bunch of run clubs, and that was like my social circle. That was like my life.
What was the first one that you joined?
The first one was Central Park Running Club. Straight to the point. I lived on the Upper East Side, so it was right there. That worked. So the run club, I think it was like, it might have been July, August. It was like kind of late to start training that the run clubs announced that they had bibs to the marathon. And they were like, if you want to run, let us know. And at that point, a marathon was a bucket list item for me. I was like, I want to do this one day just to say that I did it, to see if I can. And I knew how hard it was to get into the marathon. So when I was offered a bib, I was like, I think I have to take it. Like, if I want to do this eventually and I have this opportunity and I am running a lot right now, like, why not? So I took it and I did it.
Like July. Well, I think that's right around the time, where you start the training.
I remember
so then you just
counting the weeks on my calendar and I was like, okay, I think we're at 16. Like, is that too little? Like, ideally I would have done longer, but it was fine.
I mean, I think, yeah, that's pretty close. I mean,
Yeah.
16, 18 weeks. If you were already
Right.
running some, at least you had a
Right.
little
It
bit.
wasn't like,
So how did you, it wasn't like you had like 3 weeks or something
right.
absolutely
No,
insane.
I would not do that.
Yeah, that's not smart. So within the running club, was there like a coach that you were like, hey, will you coach me? Did you like just Google?
Yes.
How did you train?
No coach. Just
I mean,
found a
I just
plan.
Googled for my first marathon. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Hal
Yeah.
Higdon.
I think I did Hal
Yeah.
Higdon. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay more than I had to. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to finish. I wasn't going for a time goal. I'm not like an elite athlete. I also am, I don't know, kind of weird with like, I've never had a long-term consistent running coach because I just don't like people watching me. I'm like, I don't want anyone knowing what I'm doing. It just, I don't know, kind of makes me,
That's
I feel
funny.
weird about it. I don't understand. Maybe I need to like unpack this in therapy, but I'm like, I just want to do my own
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, most of my training was just, I was running with run clubs all the time with my friends. It was like such a social thing. Like the training for that marathon was so fun. I had the best time
in the city,
in New
like
York.
how cool is
So many of
that?
my friends were running. We would do our long runs together on the weekends. There was always a run club hosting a long run. Like it was just amazing.
Yeah.
So I had a blast training for that. The race itself was kind of a disaster, but the training was very fun. And I did it. And I was like, check, we did it. Great.
Yeah. Okay. So when you were training with the different run clubs, do they have like course preview runs too that you got to do? Like, would you run
They had some,
where the course was in Central Park or?
Yes. So they had some like towards the end when the race was coming up. I don't even know which group specifically, but a bunch of groups always do what's called the last 10. So like your last long run before the marathon, the weekend before, they do a 10-mile run that is the last 10 miles of the course. And that is the best day, possibly better than the marathon, to run in New York City. Like running that preview, there were people cheering along the sides. Like it's not even the race yet.
Wow.
But you just feel like such a strong sense of community. Everyone's training for the same thing. That was the best. So they did the last 10. And then because, my run club met in Central Park, we would run the finish line and like visualize all that. So I did some of that.
Visualize the finish line.
Yes, but I'm such a weirdo. Like I never study courses before a race. I was like, I don't know where I'm going or anything. So I didn't do that much.
Well, I mean, still more than I did. So I ran New York in 2018.
Okay.
And I did not know, I knew the bridges were there, but I did not know that Central Park was hilly. So I had not studied that part. Somebody told me that like literally the day before I ran the race. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it is? And I was really glad that somebody said that because I would have had no idea. Not that it really, I could have done anything.
Right.
I didn't, couldn't change anything really. My strategy was just to do it and, survive.
Same.
And yeah, that's so nice to be able to go do that last time though. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Even with the community.
It was so fun.
Oh,
that's the best. And I won
really
a free
special.
pair of shoes. They had a raffle at the beginning and I got some free Pumas. That was great.
Winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now for New York Roadrunners, there's like, to get into the race, you can like do 10 of their races or something insane, like to get into New York. Do you do any of the other ones?
Yeah. So then for the next time I ran, so throughout 2022, I did the 9+1. So you run 9 Roadrunners races and then volunteer for 1. And that gets you guaranteed entry. So I ran again in 2023. 2021, during the race, it was really frustrating. And I was honestly like way too mean to myself about it because I had great training. When I did my 20-mile run in training, it went amazing. And then the race was just horrible. So bad. And I literally called my mom crying during the race. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. And then I did again. So there we go.
I mean, wow. Yeah, it's hard.
It's so hard.
I feel like you can never really understand what race day is going to be like. And then also it can be like completely different. You can feel everything can be perfect. And then just like race day comes and you just feel different for whatever reason. And how was fueling for you at that point? Because by then I would assume you knew more about what to eat during a race versus when you had your first half.
Yeah. So ironically, fueling has always been a little bit of a challenge for me. And there have been times where it went really well and times when it really didn't. And it's like, I know the mechanics of it and I have coached so many people on their fueling. to great success. But I am someone who has always had a very anxious stomach and nervous stomach. And like
Yeah.
with the GI issues I've had, the SIBO, all of this stuff, I think that was a major reason that my first New York was so hard for me, was because I also drank way too much water beforehand, just like nervously, I was like, gotta be hydrated, and just like
We were
everything went out the
standing, like sitting on
window.
Staten Island, like for
Yes,
hours,
for
and you're
so
like, what do I do?
long.
I guess I'll just drink
So
water.
that was,
Yeah.
yeah, bad move. But, something that I don't think people talk about is, yes, New York has the best energy ever, best crowds, like so exciting, so amazing, but also so overwhelming and kind of like
Yeah.
anxiety inducing. And so it was a lot. And after that, like, so my stomach was like total, I felt nauseous for like so
Mhm.
much of the race, because just everything was, oh, it was just like one of those
Yeah.
off days. When I did my 20 miler, fueling was amazing. Like, had my bagel beforehand, had my gels as I was supposed to, and I was like, oh, I'm set. So I think translating to the race day environment is something that is really hard to replicate when it's going to be a really kind of intense scenario.
The
So
biggest marathon in the world.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So I was like, if I do another one, I think it would be interesting to do a smaller marathon, a more local one,
yeah.
and see how that feels. But yeah, it is kind of ironic that, like, as a dietitian, I don't love the marathon because it involves so much fueling strategy. I love
Yeah.
I love helping other people figure it out, but it's just not that fun to me.
Yeah.
That part of it.
I remember, well, my New York, I remember it was really tough just because the logistics. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, you leave your hotel like 3:30 in the morning. And then by the time I got to Staten Island, I'd packed like a peanut butter and banana honey sandwich or something. And I
Mhm.
remember just like trying to choke that down. Like I'd
Right.
eaten more earlier, but I wasn't sure like how to time it and just kind of was guessing.
Mhm.
And I remember feeling really sick for the first half. Like first
Yeah.
13 miles, I was like not feeling well. And then it went away, thank God. But I just
Mhm.
was like, how am I ever going to do this? I don't
Amazing.
know how I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was the other thing that got me. Like, I am a morning runner. I haven't run in the afternoons since high school when track practice was after school, but I like running in the mornings. So I'm so not used to running when I already have like a few meals in my system. Of course I'll eat
Yeah.
before I run in the morning, but like have some quick carbs and I'm on my way, and like that's all good.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't practice. I mean, do as I say, not as I do. I didn't practice the late start, which I tell all my clients to practice. Um,
Yeah.
but I also wasn't really into sports nutrition yet. Like, we don't really
Mm.
learn sports nutrition in school as dietitians. Like, you have to seek out that extra training and practice. And so as I trained for my first marathon, like that was kind of what made me more interested in it. And I was doing a lot of learning as I was going. So didn't practice the late start. And that also really got me, because then it was just totally different from anything I'd ever done.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
also
I
like
didn't
ran in
practice
new
either,
sneakers. Like,
clearly.
I did all the wrong things.
New sneak. Oh, no.
But it was,
Yeah.
no,
I
it was
mean, which,
actually fine. It was like just a new
okay.
pair of the same exact ones I'd
Yes,
had.
which
So that
is
was fine.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I do that because I get a race day pair of shoes because it's
Right.
so fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So, okay. So you did it.
I did it.
And do you remember like that finish line feeling in New York? Was it a blur?
Quick break in the show to let you know that this episode is also brought to you by Foot Levelers. Foot Levelers has been in the custom orthotics business for over 70 years. This family-run business makes orthotics that are custom to your feet. They are made from either a scan or a mold so that you get the support that is as unique as your running stride. There is 3 arch to support. So instead of just supporting one arch, like many inserts do, these orthotics support all 3 arches of the foot, creating a stable foundation for your entire body. This is important for proper alignment, which reduces stress on your knees, hips, and spine. This is great to prevent injuries, especially as perhaps in the new year you are looking to ramp up your running. This is also great for every shoe and lifestyle. So outside of running, it's also great for people who are on their feet all day for work. So the orthotics fit all kinds of shoes, not just running sneakers. They are trusted by millions of patients around the world. And if you are interested in giving Foot Levelers a try, you can go to their website, footlevelers.com, and find a provider near you. Thank you, Foot Levelers, for supporting this podcast.
Do you remember like that finish line feeling in New York? Was it a blur?
Definitely. I mean, the first one, So I've done New York twice. You know, I did the first one, I said never again. And then 2 years later, I did it again. And I ran for charity for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which felt so amazing. Just a cause I really care about, you know, both personally and professionally, working in the eating disorder world. That felt super important. And it was a much better race. I felt a lot better. So that one definitely felt great to finish. My first one, I was struggling through the end. Like all of Central Park was miserable. So I was just glad to finish, but like already really mad about how it went. So kind of a bummer, but like the second one was a little bit of redemption.
So what was your finish time for your first one?
Okay, you know what's hilarious? I don't even know the exact time.
Oh, that's great. I don't know my exact time either for my first marathon. It was like 5 hours. It was just under, I remember.
So
somewhere.
It was like 6, and then my second was 5 something. Like,
Yeah.
don't even know. That's
Don't
all,
even know.
like,
But like an hour different, which is crazy.
Right. Because even the second one, again, I'm really exposing myself here. Like, I hope my clients aren't listening, but I had been practicing with the salt stick chews as electrolytes.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I can't eat those.
I was like, let me switch over to the pills. That'll be easier. Race day. Had never done it before. And I was so bloated. I felt like I was going to explode. It was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. So like the race days just have never gone well for me. So again, it was like, you know I have spent a lot of time being like hung up on how slow my marathons were and how mad I am at myself about that. And like, I'm not trying to go for any crazy fast time. I'm not trying to BQ or anything, but I just knew I was capable of more. But now I'm like, yeah, it was like 6 and 5 hours, like whatever. That is what it is. I did a marathon.
Yeah, you did 2 marathons.
I did 2 marathons.
It's so hard in this world. Well, especially in the world of social media, especially. Mm-hmm. And if you work with a lot of runners and you have a lot of that in your algorithm, it's like, I saw somewhere where someone's like, I'm starting to feel like I need to unfollow runners because I'm starting to think running a marathon's not a big deal.
Yes.
And I related to that so much.
No, same.
Because I'm like, yeah, everybody's running a marathon. Everybody's running marathons all the time. But that's just not the case at all. It's still a huge freaking deal.
Yeah. And, after running 2, I like the half marathon a lot more. It's just like more fun for me, less stressful when you're training. Like I was just getting so in my head the second training cycle. If a long run didn't go well, it would just give me so much anxiety about how is the race going to be. Like it was definitely less fun the second time to train. The first time was probably great because I didn't know what was coming. The second time was not as fun, but a half still feels fun. So I was telling actually Cara Dudley, a run coach in New York City, she and I did a presentation together. And she's an amazing runner and so fast. And I was like, you know what? I may never run another marathon again. And I think I would be okay with that. Like, it just might not be for me. And maybe I will, never say never. But there are so many things to do that are so valuable and worthy and fun. And like, it doesn't have to be a marathon all the time. Even financially, like marathons are not accessible.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, especially for somebody like who's coming from outside of New York City.
Yeah.
Like having to pay to get there, to stay there, to eat there.
Yeah.
It all adds up so much. I do think there's something to be said about the smaller marathons. Like plug for Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis is so centrally located. The cost of living is amazing. So it's like not that expensive to stay here. And it's a lot smaller, like 17,000. It was like our biggest year ever. But that's like, think about that compared to like 60,000.
Right.
It's like a third, like less than a third of the size. It's, and there's some that are even smaller, like just with like a couple thousand people. And I've done, not a marathon at that size, but I've done half marathons or, smaller races that are like that. And it's a lot less stressful. That's for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But also like, there's nothing like the New York City Marathon.
No, there's nothing like it. Yeah.
I mean, watching all the content from this year, I was like, man,
yes,
I said I would never do it again.
But maybe you should. I mean, I went to spectate this year and it was just so fun. And I thrive as a spectator. Like if you're running a race, you want me cheering for you.
Yeah. Tell me more. Fun. What's your strategy?
Oh my gosh. Well, so this year I had several clients running, which was super fun to track them and see them. and then some friends. So I was like, okay, because I'm following multiple people, I'm just going to try and stay in one spot and see everybody versus jump around. But I mean, I didn't really go all out this year. I feel like I was just busy leading up to it, but usually I'm like megaphone, posters, music, like everything. I have my megaphone is my best friend. I didn't bring it this year. I don't know why. I just like had a mental block, but I did make all of these little friendship bracelets, and I had like 25 of them, and my friend and I were just like handing them out to runners as they passed, and it was so fun just like watching people light up at that. So like, I'm cheering for strangers, like people who don't cheer for anyone except for who they know. Like, get out.
Yeah, get out of here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta cheer for
everyone. I don't
everyone.
need you to stand there and just watch me. Like,
right. No.
Come on.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You gotta cheer for everyone.
Oh, that's fun.
It was a blast. But I was very glad that I was towards the end of the race. I was at like mile 24 because, at first I was like, oh, I missed this. I want to do it again. And then towards the end, I was like, no, I don't. Everyone's like, that's the point where everyone's struggling and you can see that they're struggling. So I was oh, I remember how that feels. I don't need that.
Yeah, those are some hard miles.
Yes.
That 24.
So hard.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. What did your friendship bracelets say?
So some of them were inspiring. Some of them were just funny. Some of them were like, don't stop, just do it. Keep going. You're a marathoner. And then one of them said like, don't poop. And
yes,
said,
I love
like,
that.
I don't even remember what else. They were a real mixed bag.
That's so great. That's so
fun.
Great. I had actually, for the first time ever in racing, I got a friendship bracelet at Indy Monumental. My friend Mary and her family had made them, and I just happened to spot them at like mile 11 of the half, and her husband like held it out, and I like put my arm through it while I was running. It was like the most amazing. I wish somebody could have like videoed that because I couldn't believe that it happened when I was that tired and like, yeah. But it said Zoom, and I really liked that. I thought that was cool.
That's cute. Yeah, I didn't realize it was like a thing. And then someone told me right before, I had a call with all my clients who were running, and they were like, yeah, people are making friendship bracelets. And I was like, oh my gosh, should I do that? And hand them out to runners, joking. And they were all like, oh, that would make me so happy. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm doing it. Like that's where the coach in me comes out. When I coach girls on the run, like I would make everyone the matching hair ribbons for the race and like get the matching team socks and all that stuff.
Yes.
It's like my favorite.
I would thrive in that too. Like I'm a huge fan of the face glitter now is like you have to have face glitter. Otherwise, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm really into that for sure. That's great. Yeah, I always like to say that when I spectated the New York City Marathon, I came back in 2019 because a couple of my girlfriends who were supposed to run in 2018 deferred. So I went back to spectate because I was like, I had so much fun running. I would love to cheer for them. And they cheered me on. So anyway, but Tyler Cameron and Matt James, of course, they run like every year now. But it was like, I think one of the first years they did. And I remember I had a sign that said pretzels because during my first race, that's all I wanted was pretzels. And my friends didn't understand what my text message meant. Oh, no. I texted them pretzels. That's the only word I could get out. And they didn't know. I was like, what the else? Sorry. Do you think I meant? I just needed pretzels.
Right. I need pretzels.
That's all I wanted. So anyway, so next year when I spectated, I brought a bag of pretzels and Matt James ate them.
Oh, that's
and that
so
was
fun.
my like highlight of spectating. It was so fun.
Well, I was tracking. Did you hear about the guy from Wicked this year?
Yeah.
I was tracking him. Totally missed him. But yeah, Fierro in Wicked on Broadway, not the movie. Ran the marathon, then performed 2 shows. Unreal. Yeah,
he just went on Allie on the Run. Allie Feller interviewed him, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to listen to that.
I can't wait. Yeah, I was tracking him, missed him, but I saw some TikToks afterwards. It looked like he had a great time.
Yeah, so fun. And not to mention like Des and her running with, oh my gosh, what's Anthony?
Yes.
Is that who she ran with?
Anthony Ramos? I don't really know who he is.
I don't really know who he is either, but I loved watching them. Like that whole experience is really cool.
Yeah,
like
so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, New York does it so big and well, so cool that you got to spectate and that you'll live. You're moving back so close to the city. So
I will be there every year. It's just so fun. Like I always know people who are running ever since living in the city, and so it really shows you like what a community it is.
Yeah. Are you a Pelotoner? Are you into Peloton?
I'm not. I never have been. Like nothing against them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just never have. Yeah.
Well, I was always so jealous of people who live in New York because I've 2019, I think, is when I got my bike and I have the tread. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would literally go on work trips in Manhattan, and I would plan where I would stay based on like where the studio was. And now it's like a whole, like much bigger thing. Like when I ran the New York City Marathon, there was no Peloton presence to speak of. And
No,
now
so
it's
many
like
of them.
Everybody's doing it and they're all cheering. And I'm, kind of sad about that. But
gotta do it again.
I also want to make sure that we talk. Yeah, we'll see. I want to talk about a little bit more about your business. So like how that ended up starting. So you mentioned like after school, having a couple of different jobs and then finally like zeroing in on what you wanted to do. But how did you end up doing your own thing and like starting your own thing?
Yeah. So after I graduated from my nutrition, well, actually during my nutrition program, so to be a dietitian, you have to complete the dietetic internship as part of the requirements. You have to do coursework, the DPD, the didactic program in dietetics. That's all the coursework. You have to do your dietetic internship, which is 1,200 hours of supervised practice, and then you have to pass the RD exam. So that's what makes a dietitian a dietitian. A nutritionist does not have those things. Little PSA for people.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. So the internship, the graduate program I did was combined with the internship. A lot of times you have to apply to your internship separately and it's extremely competitive. So I wanted to go to what's called a combined program that includes both the coursework and internship. Was lucky enough to get into one. So the way that UNC ran their internship was they had 3 different rotations. One was public health because it was an MPH program. Everyone's required to do clinicals, so in a hospital. And then we had an elective rotation. And I chose to do my elective rotation at an eating disorder treatment center because I was interested in that niche. So it wasn't really a part of our academic program. We had like one guest lecture on eating disorders. So I knew like, okay, I want to go into this. So I need to, number one, like figure out, do I really want to go into it? Because I didn't know that much and get experience. So I got an internship at a residential treatment center that was up in the Boston area. So I did my last rotation there. And then I graduated December 2018. So the fall semester of 2018, I did my internship. And when my internship ended, I still was working on my master's paper. I wanted to stay. That was the first time that I didn't hate an internship and like wanted to stay longer. So I was like, amazing. I have found it. Like, this is what I want to do. So I wanted to stay. They wanted to keep me. So they actually, but I wasn't a dietitian yet and they had a dietitian. So they kind of reshuffled staff positions and I worked as the chef at the residential center while it was so fun. So while I was studying for my RD exam, I worked as their chef and I would just like go and blast Taylor Swift in the kitchen and cook for 12 plus people every single day. And that was really fun. And then I passed my exam February of 2019 and I got a job with the same company at one of their other locations. So I moved out to LA, worked at a residential center out there that was the same company. Did that for about a year. Yeah. I had always wanted to live in California or like try it out. So I was like, great. I really loved that internship. I wanted that job. That was like the dream job, like being an RD at a residential center. So I did that and it was great.
So wait, the residential center, sorry. So is it safe to assume people like they live there? Is it almost like a rehab type of facility where you like check yourself in and you live there for like, I don't know, how long would people be there?
It depends. I would say anywhere from like probably about 4 weeks minimum to a few months. So yeah, there are 5 levels of care for eating disorder treatment. Inpatient would be the highest, like hospitalization if somebody needs a tube feeding. And then residential is not a hospital, but 24/7 care. So there are nurses who work there. There's staff on site 24/7 and you live there. Then PHP is a partial hospitalization program, which is kind of a misleading name because it's not a hospitalization, but that's like a day program. So you'll go for day treatment, but you live at home. IOP is also a day program. So PHP is usually like 5 days a week. IOP would be 3 days. And then outpatient is what I do now. So like weekly sessions.
Got it.
So yeah, I knew that if I wanted to go into this field, I wanted to get experience at kind of the highest level to see what that looks like and just know, and then kind of go down from there. So that's exactly what I did. At the end, well, right around COVID time, I moved back to New Jersey. I wanted to come back to the East Coast and I was working at a PHP and IOP program in New York City. So I did that for a bit and then worked at a couple of other private practices for other dietitians before I went out on my own. And then, yeah, it was February 1st, 2021. So it's almost been 5 years doing my own thing. That was when I
Oh,
cut the cord. I started it on my own. And, you know, everyone was working remote and working from home. So that made it easier. I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about a ton of overhead costs. I'm just going to go for
right.
this and like see if it works. And luckily it did.
Wow. So then, okay, so tell people like what is it today? And you
Yeah,
have more people like working for you now
I
too.
do.
So it's not
Yes.
just you, which is so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So we have a team. I have two other dietitians who work with me. One of them is on maternity leave. She just had an adorable little baby girl. So that's very exciting.
Oh,
But yeah, we offer outpatient nutrition counseling. So we see clients usually once a week, some anywhere from once a week to once a month. Most of our clients have some level of disordered eating. It's all along the spectrum. You definitely do not need to have an eating disorder diagnosis to get support from us or from anyone. But most people want to work on their relationship with food in some way. And we work on food, body image, and then I do talk about exercise as well with my clients. That's part of why I wanted to do my personal training certification, because I think the fitness piece is something that is really missing in eating disorder treatment. And, you know, in a treatment center, somebody is not going to be able to exercise. And like, that makes sense. But then
yeah.
I just felt like there wasn't really ever a place where it was getting reintegrated in the pipeline of treatment. So that was something I wanted to be able to add to my practice. And, you know, when I first started my practice and started posting about it on social media, I never really shared that I was a runner because I thought, oh, running is triggering. I can't say anything. But after a while, I was like, why? I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I'm not under fueling. I'm not running in a disordered way. Why can't I share this? Like, I actually want to show people that you can do this with a healthy mindset in your recovery. Like, you don't have to give up exercise just because you had an eating disorder or maybe have overdone it in the past. Like, I really wanted to send that message. So I started to share about that and kind of naturally have attracted more runners as clients. And unfortunately, disordered eating and running often go hand in hand. So
Yeah.
that happens to be a lot of clients that I see. But yeah, we work with all diagnoses, all whether it's restricting, binging, any other type of disorder behaviors, teenagers and adults. So ages like 12 and up. I love working with teenagers. I think they're very fun. And the
Yeah.
practice is all virtual. So we do sessions over Zoom or over like a HIPAA compliant Zoom adjacent
Yes.
service.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just always adding more things. This is the fun, like entrepreneurial part of it. I can do whatever I want, essentially. So,
Yeah. It's so amazing.
yeah. So I've started running an intuitive eating group. And then I really, really am excited to get some fitness stuff going, probably in the new year. So more to come in that realm.
That's exciting. Yeah. I can totally see. It's so interesting you share about like not necessarily wanting to share the running side,
Mm-hmm.
but I get it. You know, I experienced in college my disordered eating. Right adjacent to that was me like punishing myself on the treadmill. That's how
Yeah.
I started running. Actually, was in college to keep the weight off.
Yeah.
But it, you know, went to the extreme. It did not need to, and running was really just a form of punishing myself versus, you know, a form of truly like exercise. Like it was not a healthy
Right.
relationship at first, and so that does have to be tricky, I bet, in your
Mm-hmm.
profession, because also like I feel like I don't know if addicted is too strong of a word, but I'm obsessed with running. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really like running. And I feel like people, and I've talked to a lot of like addicts on this podcast too, where it's like you replace one addiction with another.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you see that in a way too, where it's like
Yes.
just this form of control and like
It is. Yeah.
it's gotta be tough.
Yes, I see it a lot where, you know, someone will be, let's say, restricting their food, and then, okay, we work in the food, but only on the days that I'm exercising. And I feel like I still can't have it on the days when I have a rest day. And so that becomes really sticky. Or, I mean, I always tell my clients, like, the eating disorder to gym girly pipeline is so strong, and it might veer away from being an obsession with weight loss. But now it's like, I have to look cut and I have to look muscular and I have to look toned and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. And so it's still very aesthetics focused. So
Yeah.
it's a fine line. And like, I get why a lot of people don't address exercise and recovery because it's so nuanced and tricky and sticky and something that you really have to pick apart for sometimes a long time to make sure you're in it for, I just always think of The Bachelor when I say in it for the right reasons.
I know. You were going to say it and I was like, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, that's like just where my brain goes.
Like, for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, but it makes sense, but it's really funny because I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really cool that you've incorporated that in your practice because it has to be talked about, because if it's not, like, it's being thought about probably by your clients anyway.
Sure.
So you might as well help them.
Yeah. And I mean, after watching the New York Marathon, I was like, I want to become a run coach. And
I was just going to ask you that same thing.
So I've been back and forth. Like, I would love to. I thrived as a Girls on the Run coach, but
yeah,
I mean, part of me is like, well, nobody wants a slow run coach. Like, I can't do it, which is my own self-limiting
that's not true.
belief.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to attract someone who's trying to like break world records. But yeah, I think there needs to be a space for it because it's been so fun. Like, I've had several clients who had to take a break from exercise because they overdid it in the past, and running specifically, and then have gone on to run their first 5K, run their first half marathon that they actually fueled for, and like hit their PRs and all of these amazing things. And that's something that, I mean, they did it. I am not taking the credit, but like being able to be a small part of that journey is just so amazing to witness.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to also talk about the content creation side of your brand. I mean, like when did you start posting a lot of content on Instagram? And are you just on Instagram or are you on TikTok as well?
I'm also on TikTok, yes. Okay. So I started on Instagram really in the early days. Like, Instagram came out when I was in college, and I think I don't know if it just came out. I graduated in 2014. I don't know exactly what year it came out, but it was pretty new then.
Yeah, I was like, Facebook was my freshman year of college in 2004.
Okay.
And then, it was my second job out of school maybe, were Instagram. So that sounds right to me.
So I first downloaded it then, and I want to say it was around like 2015 that I was really posting more of the nutrition content. And my first account was called Powered by Peanut Butter, which is so funny. Like, technically
That's cute.
Same account now. Yeah, I thought it was so clever.
That's
I spelled
funny.
Powered just RD. I took out the E because I was like, I'm going to be an RD. Like, this is so clever. So that... Yes.
Do love it.
Love it. That was my account, which I think is now my personal account. And then I started a separate whatever. And I would just share, like the super filtered strawberries from the farmer's market and like whatever. My smoothie. It's just food pictures at first, and was always very off and on with it. Looking back, I'm like, I wish I had really gone hard in the beginning, because
then,
who knows where we could be now. But I was always very off and on. It never really took off. So yeah, in some ways I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been posting for 10 years and I am still so small. But yeah, it's been off and on for that long. And I just always have kind of continued sharing. I really love the creative outlet. And, like I was saying earlier, I almost went to school for graphic design. Like, I just was so into that kind of stuff. And for, again, my Girls on the Run teams, like, I would make an end of season video at the end of every season. And I loved editing and syncing everything with the music. And like, that has just always been so fun for me. And this is actually hilarious. When I was in elementary school, I used to go over to my best friend's house, and her family had a video camera and my family did not. So that was so cool. We would literally like make cooking videos in her kitchen. So I'm like, this is so funny. Destiny from the beginning.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
We need to dig those up and put them on the internet.
I wish I had them or could find, I don't know, maybe my parents do somewhere. But yeah, so I feel like it's just always, that media aspect has always been something I really enjoyed. And so I've just been sharing, and it's definitely something that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with now, because I would love, like, I don't make money on social media. I would love to. I don't.
Yeah.
But because I love that creative piece, and because this is like maybe weird, and I do not mean to be, I don't know, self-centered or anything, but like, I don't mind being on camera. And I think a lot of people hate it. And I'm like, okay, I
Yeah, I
actually
was
still
going to
keep
ask
it.
you how you got over like just putting your face out there. Like for me,
Yeah.
I still kind of have a hard time with that. I got to get over it because clearly that's
Yeah.
what the internet wants. But it's like,
Right.
yeah. So you never had a problem with that.
I know people always talk about like, oh, you have to get past it. And I don't think I ever,
That's
I
great.
just did it. Like,
Yeah, that's
I don't know
amazing.
why I have never had reservations about like people in my personal life seeing it. I don't know why. I just didn't. I guess it's because I care so much about what I'm sharing. And I do feel like this is a message that I want everyone to hear. So I
Yeah.
never really felt embarrassed about that. Yeah, but it just kind of, it's interesting that it sort of comes naturally because as a kid, I was so shy, so timid, so
Mhm.
quiet. So I'm like, why is this easy? It kind of doesn't make sense, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
just kind of did it.
Well, it's another like superpower for your profession, I think,
Oh,
because it
thank you.
has to help people find you. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people are like in that space don't have the skills that you do. They would have to pay somebody to like
right,
do all that. And that's
right,
like, yeah.
right. Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
really cool.
I mean, it's not always the best for my mental health and how much time I spend on it, but trying to make it something.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
It's painful at times. You're like,
Yes.
cool, I spent 3 hours on this video and 10 people saw it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm just like
But
the
then you just got to roll
comparison
right on to the
game.
next one. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I actually heard someone on TikTok was like, you should never be embarrassed if your video flops because not a lot of people saw it. Like, okay, nobody saw it. That really
True.
helped
Yeah.
me.
Nobody knows that it flopped. That's a
Right.
good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Because
helped
usually
me
I'm
a
like, oh
lot.
my gosh, people are going to see that this didn't have any likes on
Right.
it. And it's like, no, they didn't
They
see
didn't see
it.
it. Exactly.
Or they just didn't like it. Whatever.
No, we won't go there.
E- either way. Well, I had a friend tell me, like, with the podcast side of things, he was like, listen, if you had 3 people on the street and you were talking to them and they were sitting there listening to
Right.
you and they took something away from that, like, isn't that impactful enough, And you're like, huh, yeah, I guess when you start to
Mhm.
think about what 100 people in a room, what a couple hundred people, beyond
Yes.
look like, you're like, okay, yeah.
Totally.
You just get so caught up again, to your point, in the comparison game where
Hmm.
you're just like, oh my gosh, I mean nothing because I have this many followers. And it's just like, that has nothing to do with the quality of the message that you're sharing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you have like I don't know, almost like, do you have a cadence of sharing some of the most important things kind of over and over in different formats? Cause I feel like there's a lot that
Yeah.
people just need to hear and it's so hard to
Hmm.
break through the noise.
Hmm. I should. That's a good idea. I
I feel like you
don't.
can make the same video 20 times and
Oh, for
people,
sure. I
yeah,
literally was like watching this masterclass the other day about Instagram growth, and
yeah,
she was basically saying that, when something does well, like share it again because that's what resonates. I have tried at times to make sort of like a content calendar, and I do have every intention of
yeah.
going back to that. Things
It's
just get so
so
busy.
hard.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I get all my ideas from my work with clients, and it is a lot of similar themes. So I feel like I'm never really at a shortage of ideas because these things are always coming up. And like, I will jot down notes about what's coming up, about weight, about calories, about comparison, about fitness, about all of these things. And then I have those ideas just like always ready to go. So it really just all comes from my work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess with that, I would love for you to share a little bit of your advice when it comes to perhaps some of your runner clients, like
Yeah.
what themes you see with runners
Hmm.
in terms of like the mistakes they're making. Obviously, not fueling at all.
Hmm.
If you're listening to this
Won't
and
do
you don't
that.
fuel on the run, let's start there. But if you
Yeah.
have maybe some words of wisdom for people listening who might need help in this area, what do you see the
Yes.
most with runners?
Yeah, I think the biggest kind of fears that come up are number one, this idea of like lighter is faster. I have to get into racing shape and my racing weight, and I'm only going to do well if I lose weight. And I really want everyone to think about that as more of an internal experience than external. Like, sure, something lighter can go faster, like if you're throwing it, but that's not the case with racing in your body. And like, what is your experience going to feel like when you are dieting, restricting, not letting yourself even have the foods that you want? Because you could be eating enough calorically or in terms of volume of food, but if you're not allowing yourself certain foods that you like and want, that's still restriction. And so, just thinking about like I may not be at what I think for whatever reason is this ideal weight, but I'm going to be fueled, which means I'm going to have better endurance. I'm going to be more present. I'm not going to be distracted in my workouts because I'm hungry and like waiting to be done and have my next meal, and just have the power to go faster, go further, do better. Like, it's not all about these external numbers. It's about what are you going to feel like inside when you're actually running. And it's always, I have never had a client start fueling more and run worse. It just doesn't happen.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there are kinks to work out as you're learning what works best for you. But when you nail it, like, carbs work. Carbs are literally energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that. And even like this idea of fasted workouts, and I need to do fasted workouts so that I can burn fat, is just so not true and silly. And we have to think about what's possible versus what is optimal. And just because it's possible to run fasted and to, like, sure, burn some fat, that is not going to lead to your best performance. You know, it is a less efficient pathway of getting energy. So you're not going to, like, if your only goal is burning fat, sure, maybe it'll work. But then also, how are you going to feel throughout the rest of the day? Are you going to end up binging later because you're hungry? And in terms of performance, it's not at all ideal. And like, getting by on just what you can because you can is not the best route to take. I feel like I said that with a Canadian accent.
Yeah. I finally met with a dietitian not that long ago, a woman who's local here. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, my like relationship with carbs, you know, just my whole upbringing, it felt like a therapy session, frankly, like meeting with her. And she literally was like, this is how much you need to be, like, based on your weight, whatever, like, this is how much you need to be taking in. And I thought I was fueling well, I thought I was doing a good job. And she's like, you need to like double what you're doing. And during training, I started putting that into practice and I felt unbelievable. Like, it's crazy the difference your body feels when it's fueled like optimally. Like, I thought I was doing fine.
Yeah. And like fueled optimally day to day. You know, a lot of people think, okay, I'll have my pasta the night before my long run and that's fueling.
Right.
It's not. If you're not having enough every single day consistently, you're still at a deficit. You're still restricted, and like not going to be nourished. And I gave one of my clients this really cheesy analogy, but I love an analogy to make the point. And so I told her, I was like, this is so lame, but I also kind of love it.
I love it. I already love it.
Like, having your carb load, whether it's the pasta dinner or whatever, your carb load is like filling the gas tank of a car. And if you think about having an electric car, the carb load fills the gas tank, but your everyday meals charge the battery and like give you that baseline lasting energy, which is like, sounds like a dad joke, but it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I swear I was like, who the hell just said that on my podcast? Somebody was like, you can't put water in a car and expect it to perform at its best. Yeah. It's kind of like similar thing. Analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think I mean, but it does make sense.
Yeah. I think the last thing that I just really want people to know is that, you know, yes, we're talking about you feel better when you fuel, but there also are plenty of times where people are under fueling and still hitting PRs and running really well. And like, just because you're performing well doesn't mean that your body is healthy. There is a breaking point and we never know where it is. So you're kind of just like gambling at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to mention like setting yourself up for potential injury.
Yes.
Like,
oof,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah. What do you say to people like me who my marathon of the year is behind me and now I'm like in this place where I felt like I was fueling really well for like my longer runs. And now I'm like, okay, I need to not be fueling like I'm still marathon training because it feels like then all of a sudden I'm still like eating too much. Right. Or is that just something I'm telling myself and that's like your body still needs, I don't know.
I mean, I would have a lot of more detailed questions about your personal diet to know.
What are you even?
But it is a good point. Like, I think that, you know, during marathon training or race training, like, yes, you're upping the carbs pretty much all day, every day. And then when you are out of that season, you're not eliminating carbs. We're just shifting portions on your plate. So now is your chance to emphasize more protein, emphasize more fiber, and like not be so afraid of that, because that's something we want to avoid before long runs and all of that. But
yeah,
just being able to kind of crowd out a little bit of what you might not need as much of by adding in the fruits and vegetables, the fiber, the protein, all of those things will just naturally help you not feel like you need as many carbs. And then it's listening to your hunger cues also, because most runners, even in an off season, are still running regularly. So you still need more carbs than the average person.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yes, you can shift things a little bit, but we want to make sure that you're still listening to your hunger. Like our cravings often tell us things. If you are ever running really hard and you like crave super salty foods, that makes sense. We need more sodium. Yeah. So it's a balance of, yes, prioritizing all of these nutrient dense things, getting more color in your diet, but not being afraid to still have the carbs.
Yeah. The pizza.
Yeah.
I love the picture of you with pizza.
Thank you so much.
Where is that? Is that on your website?
One of my favorites. Yeah. Yeah.
It's perfect. I love it. It's like, yeah,
New York pizza. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am going to ask you the end of the podcast questions now.
Great.
So there's two of them. First one's a two-part. It's, what is your favorite running mantra and or song?
Ooh. Okay. Can I cheat and tell you about my favorite playlist?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I am a huge Taylor Swift fan, and my go-to running playlist is called Running Swiftly, and it's just all of Taylor's like upbeat songs. So I took out basically no Folklore, no Evermore, but any of her songs that are good running songs, it's just like a full Running Swifty playlist. So that's my go-to. And recently, Opalite, best song.
Yeah, same. That was the one that made it on my marathon playlist.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I love it so much. Did you get to go to the Eras tour?
Sore subject.
Sorry.
I did not.
My bad.
Did you?
Well, yeah, I did. But it was
Must
because my friend's husband like got lucky and got one of the codes to get the tickets, and it was an absolute nightmare. Like she, even with the code, didn't think she was going to get them. Like she was just clicking and trying to buy, and it was
I was like calling my family, like who has a Capital One card, like doing the pre-sale, everything. Literally changed my schedule of clients for the day. Didn't get tickets. It was very sad.
It was crazy. But yeah, we got nosebleeds in Lucas Oil in Indianapolis. And one of my best friends and I, we took our 8-year-old girls, and they are ruined for concerts forever.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I was like, this is not really like, how do I explain this to you? This is like a core memory. This isn't really a concert. Like, this is not how this works.
Yeah. That's so fun though.
Yeah. So anyway,
amazing.
But okay, I'll have to look at that playlist because I'm a Swiftie. I'm not like the biggest Swiftie on the face of the earth, but I do love Taylor Swift, and I will share you definitely listen to a playlist. Yeah.
It's great.
Excellent. And then the next one is, what is your next finish line or milestone?
Ooh, well, definitely the turkey trot. That's what I
was going to say. Yeah.
Now.
Do you do?
Yes.
Okay. What's your turkey trot like?
Love a turkey trot. It's 5K. There are a couple nearby my hometown. So we're doing one that I haven't done before, actually. I think it's a little bit of a flatter course and mostly just a different t-shirt. Like I have so many t-shirts from the one turkey trot that I'm like, I want a different shirt. And that's motivating the shift.
Yeah, enough.
So we're going to a neighboring town. It's a 5K. And my brother is a triathlete. He's an amazing runner. He does triathlons. He's like super fit, super just good at everything. So he was like, okay, I'll pace you. We'll PR. And I was like, okay, well, I PR'd my 5K when I was running a lot more frequently than I am right now. So I don't know if I can do this. So I'm like training to try.
That's so exciting.
I was, and now I have kind of fallen off. So we'll see. We'll see. But I just think it's a great way to start Thanksgiving. Like me and my brother run. My parents don't run, so they'll come and just, be there, cheer. I just think it's so fun.
That's so
and
nice.
Like not at all tied to earning our food or burning calories or anything like that. I just love like, getting outside. It's like such a community feel. People dressed up is just so fun. Someone's always running in a turkey costume. So I love that.
I know. So what's bad is that we used to live in an area of town called Broad Ripple. My local listeners will know, like that's our big turkey trot, like thousands of runners. It's gotten so big. Mm-hmm. And so we used to do that, my husband and I, every year. And then I think we must have stopped when I got pregnant with our first kid. And I don't think I've done a turkey trot since, which has been 8 years.
Will you do it this year?
And I'm so it's funny you ask. Well, I haven't really broken the news to my husband yet, but I'm like, there's two. There's one, I live in Carmel, which is a suburb of Indianapolis. There's also a city called Zionsville, and they each have one. And they're both like a much more manageable size, like and logistics wise. And the one in Zionsville has a 2-miler, which both of my kids, I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old girl, could handle run walking 2 miles. So I'm thinking like that would be really fun to kind of get back into that.
Yeah,
because we're usually home on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. Yeah, we'll see.
So very excited for the turkey trot. I do have a goal to PR my half marathon. I don't have a timeline on it, but I think next year I want to really train for speed for my half.
Okay. And what would that be for you?
Well, my PR right now is 2:07 and I want to break 2 hours.
Okay.
That's the goal.
You got this. Yep.
Yeah, I know I can. It's just a matter of committing.
Right. Yeah. Prioritizing actually doing it.
Yeah. Just gotta do it. So next year.
Yeah. Just got to do it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's amazing. I'm so glad that Paige introduced us. It was so nice to meet you, Michelle.
This was so fun. So great to meet you.
Yeah, so much fun. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's it. We did it. So thank you. And thank you to everybody who's listened and maybe watched. And happy running.
Happy running. Thank you.
Okay, that's a wrap on episodes for 2025. Now on to 2026. Thank you again to everybody who has been here. Thank you for Noogs and Foot Levelers for supporting this episode of Finish Lines and Milestones. And again, if you enjoyed this podcast, please go share, rate, and review. As promised, next year, I am so excited to launch a new series of the Finish Lines and Milestones podcast with my very own running coach, Rachel Cinders. She is Rachel Michelle Running. We are going to get together once a month for a laid back, kind of casual catch up, just to talk about my own personal running, her philosophies as a coach. We'll talk about others in the community that are part of Team Rachel Michelle Running to continue to share our love of running with the community. I think it'll be fun. So that, along with Friday episodes, and then more to come. So excited for next year. Thank you again. Have a great holiday. Bye.